Replacing or changing sockets is something as an electrician I get asked to do only too often. And there are sometimes some issues that come along with those. I'm about to show you one that I've just found and how to get around it. So having unscrewed the socket off the wall, we can see straight away that there's 3 cables going in here, and that because they've been cut too short, someone's put a chop block in there. Ordinarily not a bad thing, but A, they put tape on it, which is pretty horrible to be honest, because they either go sticky and horrible and brittle and not really needed. Also, the chop block looks like it's only a 15 amp one. Obviously the circuit's on a 32 amp ring main, and there's a spur been added which goes off into the conservatory on the other side of the wall here, but there's no rubber gland around there. So I'm going to take it off and do some tests. So with the socket out of the way, we can see that the cables are definitely too short. These neutrals have been wound together, which is one of my pet hates. Absolutely hate that, especially when it comes to testing, because you have to unwind it all, and the chances are that the core might actually break as you do that, which means you again need to extend it. So I'm going to unwind that in a second. Let's start with taking the chop block off the lives and get that horrible bit of tape off. So do that. Yeah, that's not great, is it? So just unwind those. And now with my trusty tester, take 2 crocks together. It's already set to continuity, and to make sure it's zeroed, which it is, which now means we can move on to confirming that these cables are actually on a ring circuit. Let's get the camera back right. So do the earth first. Yep, 0.57. Neutrals are 0.41. That's not too great because the earths are supposed to be 0.67 more than the line conductors. The lives are coming out at 0.42. So that's good because that tells me that there isn't a break anywhere else in the circuit. That confirms that it's a ring circuit. So what I'm now going to do is make sure that this is definitely a spur. So we'll do the earths again. No continuity there. Same there. And with the neutrals. Now it's always good to double check with the other side of the ring, just in case there is a figure 8 circuit going on, which there doesn't seem to be. So that confirms that that's definitely a spur. Now, one of the issues I'm now going to have is on the other side of this wall, there are several sockets and they're all linked together. Now, you can't have a spur of a spur. It doesn't meet the regulations. So I'm going to have to look into this and investigate it further once I've got all this sorted out. So the first job I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the grommet that's missing. I'm just going to add it in there, slide it on there. In the process, actually, I'm going to remove some of the detritus left by the tiler, just to clean the box out a little bit and give myself a bit more room. So I'll just get that in there, and then following that, I need to straighten all the bent ends of the cables out, because I'm going to be using these connectors. Which will just help me extend the cable. They're all rated at 32 amps and they just push fit, but the ends of the copper terminals need to be straight and they need to be cut to the correct lengths. The easiest way I find to do this, just to start with, is to just use a pair of pliers and just squash them down straight. If you find this doesn't work, because you're extending them, because that's a bit nasty as well, it might actually just be easier just to snip the ends off and start it again. This way, at least you know you've got a nice piece of clean copper that the connector will just clip straight onto. Now that's a little bit long for this connector, so we'll just take the end off a little bit and literally just slide straight on, give it a good push, make sure it's on there, and then pull it just to make sure it is secure. And then we can take your piece of twin and earth cable, which I've already stripped and cut. Take the end off of again because it's a little bit, take the end off a little bit more because it's a little bit long. And again, just give it a tug, make sure it's not going to come out. And then that's a decent size length for me to just snip the end off there, strip the end off, and join it all back together again at the back of the socket. So you can see I've extended all the cables I need to be doing. This sliver is actually long enough, along with all the earths, they will reach the back of the new socket very easily. What I've also done is I put an earth tail onto the back box, because you're now supposed to earth anything that's metal, and that includes back boxes. So before I attach the socket to this, I need to retest the ring circuit, because the last thing we want to do is put it all back together again and find that there's a break in there. So now's a good time to do it. Okay, so that's really good. So it's now to put the socket on and carry on with the other tests that need to be done. Things are all wired in, it's all in place, all in the correct positions in the back of the socket. So now it's a case of me just having to offer it up. Obviously, when you do it, you have to take into account the size of the connector blocks. There's obviously different types of connectors. These are just the ones I happen to have in my bag at the time. So what you need to do is just make sure that they'll go in nice and easy at the back. There's plenty of room. Obviously space the cabling so that as you push the socket back into position, they'll fold nicely up into place. So all I've got to do, screw it on there now, and then go and deal with the issue of the spur, and make sure it's not a spur off a spur, and that in fact it is actually safe. So starting to investigate the spur coming off the back socket in the kitchen, I think I've just opened a hornet's nest. You probably can't see it on this wall because of all the light at the moment, but here on the wall just here there's a chase that I can see that's been made in, which goes all the way down, and there is indeed a socket hiding down at the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that. I'll take a photo of that and put it up. And there's also a chase running diagonally up to this light fixture. Now these lights, one on this wall and one on the wall over there, they are powered by this fuse spur here. Obviously nothing's going to happen because the power's off, but this is going to be quite an invasive investigation. Fortunately I've still got to change the fuse box later on, so I don't have to dive too deeply into all the testing right now, but I do need to look into this. I need to check it's okay, and I need to check it's safe. So I'm going to have to leave you on this one, I'm afraid, and you have to catch up with me later on a future video. I hope you found this informative. If you have, or if you have any questions, please leave comments down below, and please like and subscribe because every single one helps. So until later on, thank you for watching. Just a quick follow-up. This is on a socket on the other side of the conservatory, and they obviously didn't have any grommets, so what they've done is they've used gaffer tape as grommets. So this was obviously a bit of a bodge job, hopefully not done by a qualified electrician. So I've got my work cut out on this one. Wish me luck, because I've got quite a lot of stuff to do.